dichotomy. Because he is at one time the most polite, kind person you'll ever meet. He'll look you in your eyes and tell you he appreciates you, and he'll mean it. But he can also kill you with his bare hands. Please give it up. Tahmoh Penikett!
Have a lot of people flown in from a different time zone like me? A few hours sleep or a little more? Few? Yeah, I'm working on a few. I didn't really sleep last night, so you'll excuse me if the wheels are turning a little slowly this morning. Yeah, but it's great to be back. I'm excited about this show. I think it's been a couple of years since I did Jersey, and the last time I did it, it was fantastic. Huge crowd, we had a wonderful time. Let's do it again this weekend. Let's do it. So, tell me everything, start at the beginning. Go. You first. No? Okay. Should we go to questions right away? I guess we should, because my brain is a little foggy. I need help here, guys. We have someone over here. Hi.
Hey, so I came from Orlando just to see you.
Oh, fantastic. I'm flattered.
And I was wondering, I know probably everybody here knows you're Supernatural, but I love Battlestar. And so I was just wondering, what was your favorite part of working on Battlestar?
There are so many things that I love about Battlestar. You have to understand that I'm a big sci-fi fan, genre fan myself. I always have been ever since I was a kid. And when we started Battlestar, it was clear that the miniseries was really something different. It was amazing. The first season wasn't guaranteed, but I think the response to that miniseries was so strong. And the test groups and the audiences just wanted to see more. So I remember shooting the first season, and for me, I was constantly like, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is like a dream come true. Like I'm sitting here with the likes of Mary McDonald and Edward James almost, and then of course the rest of my cast were so talented. Like, I get to see James Callis work early on, and it was just fantastic. So many wonderful actors and such wonderful writing. I was pinching myself right away. So one of my favorite things early on was the fact that the writing was exceptional, and every day felt like the biggest hits. And that's interesting and unique in the way that when you first start out, and that was one of my first big gigs. You as an actor, I don't care how experienced or confident you are, when you first start out in this business and you're acting with legends who've been doing it for 40 or 50 years, it's intimidating, it's scary. And I was definitely intimidated and scared. But one thing that was overriding that fear and that intimidation was just pure excitement and joy at being able to have that opportunity. So even on bad days, I always brought it back to the fact that you were so blessed, you were so lucky to be doing this. The show was a fantastic ride. In total, I worked with those people for 6 years, if you include the time between the miniseries. The miniseries we did was originally 4 hours long, so it was almost like doing 2 back-to-back features when we shot it. I'm still dear friends with many of those people. They're family to me, they always will be. I'm so proud to have been on that show, and the fact that it's still resonating 20 years from the day that we started, which is still wild to even get my head around, is a testament to the quality, the importance of that art. And Eddie almost always said, he's like, 20 years from now, we're going to be talking about the show. People will still be talking about it, and he was completely right. He was 100% right. So
It holds up perfectly. I just rewatched it last week, and it was
just last week.
just last week. I just rewatched the whole thing. I just binged it.
Wow.
And it was amazing.
It's like that episode of Portlandia. You didn't sleep, you forgot to brush your teeth, you just went for it.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
So I have another Battlestar Galactica question for you, although she stole my first plan.
She took
So,
some of it.
One of the, it is said that when that Hilo was supposed to be left on Caprica and not come back. Is that true? And how did it come about that you actually stayed to the end?
I think it is true. I think if you think of, in terms of budget, and you think of the way that you're organizing the show as a production manager, as an executive producer, it was a large cast already. They had many different storyline arcs that they needed to invest in and explore, and I think they saw most of those happening on the ship. They didn't really intend to be back on the planet in Caprica. But I guess, and this is what I've heard, Ron Moore has confirmed this before, but there was such strong audience reaction to Hilo's storyline, running around on the planet, trying to survive, but initially just giving up his seat. The way he did that, the heroic way, the selfless way that he gave up his seat for James Callis' character, Gaius Baltar, the resident genius, because he felt that whatever was left of humanity was going to be better with this man. This man had more worth than his own work, his own life. And people really responded to that, and they ended up writing for it. And it ended up being one of the most popular parts of the show. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Felicia.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. My question is, what would your dream of mental health day or day off look like?
What would my dream of it be?
Your dream mental health day or day off? Like you get a day off from work, would you binge watch a show or order food or whatever? What would you do?
That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, I'll tell you, when I have my cheat day, because I try to be disciplined for most of the week, when I have my cheat day, I eat anything and everything that I've been craving all that week. When I'm punishing myself and eating really bland salads and boring food, I go for it, man. So here's a quick story to that point. I grew up in northern Canada, in the small town that I grew up in. There you go. We got some northerners in the crowd or some appreciators of it. Very small town. When I was a kid, there was like 12,000 people. The only fast food restaurant there was Dairy Queen. So I've got a real soft spot for DQ. Their burgers, their ice cream, blizzards, dilly bars, all that stuff. So a dream mental health day might be binging some of my favorite shows. Definitely a portion of the day watching UFC because I'm a huge combat fan. And get down on some, maybe a Smarties Blizzard and some triple cheeseburgers. Maybe a pizza about an hour later. And then if I can stuff anything else in, maybe 2 hours, give myself a little time to digest. I might get some Thai food in there. It's good, right? It's all good stuff. What about you? I have to ask you now.
Probably the same thing as you, to be honest. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you for that question. That's
No,
the first time I've been asked that. Well, I want Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really well. How are you?
I'm doing good. So my question is, were you a fan of Supernatural before you auditioned, or was it just kind of like, ooh, that sounds fun, like, let's see what that's all about?
So Supernatural, as far as I remember, which started around the same time that Battlestar did, shooting in Vancouver. So I was well aware of the show. I met Jared briefly before, heard about the show, heard about its momentum, and just happy that the show was being shot in Vancouver, and I had so many friends who were working on it. There was the typical guest star of the week, so I had many different friends who were going in and doing episodes. And my best buddy Alex Parvik, I think he ended up doing 3 episodes. 3 different characters over the 15 seasons. I'd seen a couple episodes, but it feels like, and I haven't gone back and watched, but it feels like those first 3 seasons, 4 seasons, it was kind of a different creature than what it became, you know? It kind of had the supernatural thing of the week, and I think it changed for the better, and I love the show became because I was a big fan of the later episodes and later seasons. You know, being from Vancouver and shooting there, we kind of celebrate all productions that are happening there because they're employing people, they're employing all the crews, they're bringing a lot of money into the community, and people are very, very appreciative of it. So to think about when I heard about that show starting, if you'd asked me then, hey, this show will go this many seasons, like if I had any idea, I probably would have said no because it's so rare. But again, that's a testament to the quality of fans. Part of the reason the show went as long as it did is because of you guys, because you wanted more, because you know it got put on streamers and people were marathoning the hell out of the show, right? So it's a special production to have been a part of, and I've been doing these conventions with these guys, now for a decade, and I'm just really grateful for it. Thank you. Hi.
Hey, I'm Donna.
Hi, Donna.
You were wonderful in casting, and of course, it's Gadreel. What do you look for in a character? What stands out in the case that makes you go, I can do this?
I mean, listen, there's been times where there's been plenty of work and there's been offers and I've been in a position where I can turn things down and be quite picky. But most times in this business, you know, we don't have that luxury. That said, as an actor, I appreciate and love this craft so much. I like to challenge myself. Things that are scary, I want to do too. But sometimes I'm like, I don't know about that. You know, I want to challenge myself. I want to do it. Writing number one. But you know, sometimes writing might not be the best, but you find out who's involved in terms of other actors or the showrunners or creatives, and that's what inspires you. You're like, listen, these people are good enough. Even if this draft isn't great, they're gonna make it better. Or I might just cut out there for a second. Or you know, the fact that you're just going to get an opportunity to work with an actor or actors that you respect so much. We love to do this dance. This acting is it's a reciprocal thing, man. It's not a particular thing in any way. You're up there doing the dance with somebody because you want to do it. That's what we get off on. That's why we love this craft. We bring our stuff to the table, and then the actor that you're working with brings their stuff and creates something completely different. And the unknown places that you go, it's one of the most attractive things about this art form that I love so much. I jump at the opportunity to work with actors whose work I've seen before and I respect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi. So my question is, what was the hardest part of playing a character like Gadreel? Like, what did you have to do to get in character for it?
Well, I never played an angel before, and I felt initially that he might have a little bit of a different cadence, the way he speaks, because he's thousands of years old, and that was something that I wanted to work on specifically right away. And I thought that I was going to be playing him first, in terms of like, I thought that me doing a drill, I would be the first actor on screen. I was given false information about that, and then I ran into Jared, and he's like, I think when I talked to Jared, he was a little confused. He's like, hey man, I'm so happy you're doing this, and it's gonna be great, and we had a great time, and it was just a brief conversation. But when I went in for my very first day, the director, before I was about to do my first significant scene, was like, hey, do you want to see what Jared has done? And I said, what Jared has done with what? He said, well, with Gadreel, like Ezekiel, Gadreel, we shot a scene with him. And I said, what? I thought I was the first one. Because for me, as the actor, I was like, I get to set the precedent. You know what I mean? These choices that I made, he's got to follow suit. Even though he's leading, I'm so respectful to that. if I go first, it's all about me setting the precedent, right? It makes it easier for me in some ways. And I made some, some bold choices. Luckily, because when he told me that, you can imagine, I instantly started sweating. This is before we were about to do the take. He's like, do you want to see it? We've got a minute. Do you want to see what? I'm like, do I want to see what the lead actor's done with the character that I'm supposed to be playing also? Yeah, that's probably a smart idea. Maybe that makes sense. I'm thinking in my head, I'm gonna get fired right after this episode. You're gonna give me 20 seconds to take in something that the actor is doing, and I've got to follow suit. You have much more confidence in my abilities than I do. I need more time. Yes, show me the damn scene. So he showed it to me, and it was amazing because Jared was doing a completely different thing initially. The way he walked and the way he moved, it was almost like it was wild. It was almost like he was a superhero. He was moving in a different way than his character was in the show. And I was like, I can incorporate that. That's good. That falls right in the choices I've made. And so I stopped stressing so much, and I tried to throw as much of what he was doing into what I was just about to do. And then we went from there, and it all worked out. And I think he did fantastic work with that. It was so cool to see him doing something other than his regular character and playing this angel. It was such a neat experience. Thank you.
Hey Tahmoh, it's
Hi.
I met you 2 years ago.
Nice to see you again.
Gadreel's character really inspired me in some parts, like with the storyline and how like the inspiration and like the never give up and everything, even when everyone's against you. If you could have a Gadreel spin-off, if they called you up right now, obviously not at the convention, and said, yo, we're doing a Gadreel spin-off, would you return? And we're gonna retcon his whole ending, which was bullshit by the way. And say you could come back as the character, would you come back in a heartbeat as a Supernatural spin-off, as Gadreel?
Yeah, absolutely. If I wasn't doing anything else, I'd come back and play him some more. There was lots that could have been explored with him. And a lot of people weren't happy with that ending. It was violent, it was sad. A lot of people were really affected by that. I've had so many fans come up to me, especially during the signings or photos, and just say, hey man, that ending really shocked me. It really hurt me. I didn't enjoy it. So absolutely, I would be down in a second. They wrote a spin-off, and there's an opportunity for him to come back, especially if there was opportunity for Gadreel and Castile to have some scenes together. We could get some angel scenes happening. I think there was a whole lot of humor and opportunity with those two characters that we never got to explore. Not enough of it.
I hated the ending so much that I wrote a fanfic that Gadreel gets a redemption arc. Screw canon.
I love it. You should post that.
I
you post
did,
it, you
it's
sure?
on my podcast.
Okay,
I'll tell you later.
do me a favor, put it on Twitter so I can check it out.
I'm not on Twitter anymore, but I'm on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, we'll try that.
I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
And I love you so much, and I'll see you later in the photo op.
I love it. Let's take a good photo.
Hi. So my question is, what was it like on like your first episode of Supernatural?
So my first episode, I just told the story about it, actually, right? No, it's okay. But that was actually my first episode. So I went in, it was a big day. I think I had a good 4 important scenes to shoot that day. So it was a big day. I think the first scene we shot was just really simple. It was my character getting off the bus and then getting back on it. It's a little warm-up scene. Sometimes they give that to you to just warm up the actor. And then I got into it. I had an important scene with Jansen. But it was good. I think I made a lot of choices. There was a lot happening in my life at the time too that I found very. It was interesting, the characters you play when you're dealing with certain things, art imitating life. There were certain struggles and challenges that I was having in my life at that time in playing that character, this angel. it made a lot more sense as the season went on. I started realizing the symmetry of it all. It was like meant to be. It was there was a beauty to it, even though in the beginning I thought it was quite challenging. And I enjoyed that first day, but I definitely had some panic, big old healthy dose of instant sweat panic when the director told me what you'd like to see what the lead actor has done with the character that you were supposed to play first, but guess what? You didn't. He beat you to it. But I appreciate it. You know, it's a good story to tell, and I think we did a good job with it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Alicia.
Hi, Alicia.
So I watched Devil in Ohio when it first came out.
What'd you think?
It was amazing. I loved it. And I just wanted to see how you felt filming it and just get an understanding of the difference between you doing a satanic, cultish type leader versus like juxtaposition of an angelic, godly creature.
Yeah, I mean, they're very different, right? That show was great. I read the book in preparation to do the role in the series, and there was such a huge response. It got billions of views, right? It was in the top 10 shows, top 5 shows for like over a month, I think, streaming. The response was really incredible. If I can gripe about anything as an actor, because of budget concerns, they kept streamlining my character. Like they kept cutting out scenes. They just didn't have the money for it. There was supposed to be more of an arc, and I felt it was a little bit challenging the way that I you hear about me, and then I show up, and then it's kind of like 4 intense episodes, and then it wraps up. There was a little bit more of a progression to his character in the beginning, which I was looking forward to doing and exploring. But I was working with a fantastic showrunner, Gadreel. He's super talented. She wrote the book also, very, very talented and collaborative, and as was her writing team. And of course, the actors on the show were so good. I had a great time. I dealt deep. For those of you who don't know, it very much has to do with cults. And the show is based on a true story about an actual satanic cult in the 90s. They basically had its own community, its own laws and everything. And a lot of people knew this was happening, but powers that be just kind of let it go on. It's a really fascinating story. But that character, it was a trip going down that hole. Not to digress too much, but there was a very significant cult that was doing most of his business in Vancouver for years. And I have friends who were involved. In its initial capacity, it was really just an executive success program, very much like Landmark or Tony Robbins' course. It was about bettering yourself. But at the higher levels, the head of this cult was doing many nefarious things, specifically with the women in the group, and it all came out. There's an HBO documentary about it. So I've been privy to some of this knowledge, some of these specific stories, and some of the attractions that bring people into things like this initially. And I brought all that to the table with this gig. Gadreel and the character I played in Devil in Ohio are very, very different, but it's always interesting exploring characters you haven't done before. I know at first I was feeling a little intimidated, but also super excited that I get to do something like this, because it's departure from anything I'd ever done before. And in the end, I'm happy with the work. It was a great project, and I think they did a fantastic job. And the testament, the evidence of like how many people watched the show and responded to it strongly, I think is the testament to how good it was.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So.
Awesome.
Glad
Thank
had
you.
a good time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi.
I know Supernatural, you hear a lot of stories about the crimes they filmed, and I think did Jared ever really go after you, or do you remember that? big part of your story from the set?
Yeah, these guys just like to bust balls, man. They like to take the piss. I love that British term. You know, they love to joke around. And it's good because it's such an actor. You know, if I'm doing an emotional scene, I'm preparing before the scene. I'm very much in character. I'm doing vocal sounds and warm-ups. There's a lot of bloopers they have on that show of the camera filming me walking around going, doing my actor warm-ups and, you know, in my space getting prepared for the scene. While those guys are all, you know, they're joking around, they're all teasing each other, they're back and forth with the camera crew. The whole set and crew on that show had been working together for so long, so they're like a big family. Anyone can tell you there was almost always levity. Even if there were serious scenes, they always knew when to drop in, and they'd bring it every time. The craftsmen, they've done thousands of hours of television, but you know, there was always a levity, which is good, because when you're working the hours you do in this business, it can be really, really exhausting. And it's tiring, and people can get on each other's nerves, and they can get sensitive sometimes. And those two just weren't allowing it. They didn't allow it. They came in and they knew when to lighten it up, and they knew when to drop it and make it serious too. Thank you.
That was great, thank you.
Good morning.
Hey man, how are you?
Good, you?
Good. I like your shirt.
Thank you. So earlier you were talking about your best day off, like watching combat sports.
Yeah, man.
Do you have a favorite fighter, and what do you think of McGregor coming back next month?
Oh man, talk for it. Okay. Give me 1 second. Oh, we're back. We're back. I've got many feelings about McGregor coming back. Briefly, he's the biggest thing to ever happen to MMA. He is a consummate showman of the highest level. He's done incredible things. He's increased fighter pay. He's one of the highest paid athletes. He's an absolute assassin in the sport of MMA. That said, and I say this respectfully, the man broke his leg in a very, very severe way. MMA, specifically UFC at that level, is they're killers. It is so hard to sustain that game at the highest level for years on end. It's very rare that they last. And yes, he's got the best trainers. Yes, I think he's still an incredible athlete, and he's an elite fighter. I think he's been very tactful in choosing his opponents too. Like, I think he's got a very strong chance, especially with Chandler, especially in the first round when Connor's always been the most dangerous. But he's incredibly rich. And he's been partying, he's been doing other things and making movies and stuff. Part of fighting, the rule of it, as I'm sure you know, is you have to be so hungry. And he came from nothing. You know, he was on welfare, working his ass off for years. He was so hungry in the beginning. I don't know how you sustain or keep that hunger when you've been so successful and so wealthy. And you know, to paraphrase another famous fighter, you're waking up, you're taking off silk pajamas. It's part of it. You need to be hungry. You need to have that desire, that need. I don't know if he has that anymore. We'll see. He could blow us all away. He might take out Chandler in that fight. And if he does, there's more exciting fights for him to have. I'd highly doubt that he'll become a champ again, but crazier things can happen in MMA. You never know. What do you think?
I can't wait. Like you said, it's a showman. And
Can't wait
if
to see it.
anything, it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good matchup. It's a really good matchup. Let's be honest. It's a fantastic matchup. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
And did you say who your favorite fighter was? I don't know.
Oh man, I could go on and on. I mean, back in the day, it was Anderson Silva for sure, because I'm a huge Muay Thai fan. I've been doing it for a big portion of my life. I love elite strikers. It's one of my favorite things. I thought Volkanovski was just incredible in his streak, his timing, the high-level kickboxing that city kickboxing is doing out of New Zealand is next level. Those guys are killers. But you take head damage, you take concussions. Your coaching team needs to make sure that you have ample time to prepare and to recover. And I don't think they gave that to him, and I think they shortened his career because of it. So we'll see. I'm also a huge Izzy fan. I love Pereira. I could go on and on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wondering if you can settle the debate. Friends of mine listen to the podcast, which is one of the Supernatural podcasts, and we are on season 9 episodes. And we've noticed that you and Jared and some other actors pronounce Gadreel differently. There's Gadreel, there's Gadreel, there's Gadreel. Was there ever discussion? What is the official pronunciation of the name?
Well, I think it really depends on people where they're from, cadence, you know. I mean, let's be honest, this is a country with many different dialects and many different accents. We're sitting in a place that, you know, is known throughout North America for its accent. So the way I said it was Gadreel, right? But I think in the beginning I might have been saying Gadreel. I think I was getting used to those names too. But I have heard different versions. But since I played them, I think it's Gadreel. What do you think?
Gadreel always sounded good to me, but
Sounds good to me.
I'm not the official word.
Well, I'm him, so I say so. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Emma.
Hi.
And I was wondering, in the entire series of Supernatural, is there an actor or actress that you wish you had a scene with, but you didn't?
There's many. If I could have, I would have acted with any and all of the regulars, 100%. Jim Beaver would have been amazing to work with. I did such brief work with Misha, you know. I think that, I've spoken on this before, but I think there was ample opportunity for some angel love, some angel comedy, some angel dynamics between those two characters. That would have been amazing. And you know, I mostly obviously worked with Jensen and Jared and Curtis. But they were fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and I wanted more. Like, I really like working with Jensen. Jensen brings it, man. And we had some really emotional scenes, and I know after we had our first one, I was like, no, man, I can depend on this guy. He brings it. He's there. That's my type of actor. I don't want somebody lazy. I don't want somebody worried about ego or whether they're going to look pretty or whatever. Like, let's get dirty. Let's get into it. He always did that with me. We had some kick-ass scenes together. I really enjoyed them. There's such a fantastic cast, like the greater cast of the show. So many of the regulars from so many seasons. I mean, we love them all. I wish I could work with so many of them, because the thing is, I've become such dear friends, like good friends, traveling with these people around the world, doing conventions for over a decade now. It's cool that you break your bread with these people. I know them quite well. I've had intimate conversations with them many times. We talk about family, we talk about life and passions and struggles, but some of them, even though I know so well, I never got to work with them, and yet we're traveling specifically because of the show that we were all on. So, yeah, I don't know. I look forward to down the road. There is a spin-off. It's a different show. Having the opportunity to actually act with some of these formidable actors.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
My name's Tracy. My question is, what is something someone would be surprised to learn about you?
That's a good question. Well, I would say there's a couple things, but one thing that I really appreciate is furniture. I really like well-built furniture. I like craftsmanship of all types. I appreciate artists. I appreciate symmetry. I've never had a thing for mathematics in any way, but I guess in a sense I do, because I like good craftsmanship. I grew up in a family and didn't have a lot of money when I was younger, and even when my parents started making a little bit more money, and God bless them, my parents are both incredible human beings, both incredibly intelligent. They weren't the best at buying things. quality products or doing research into that. And my character, even from young age, I'm all about like saving up more money so that I can get something that's actually gonna last. You know what I mean? That's something well made. I remember when I was younger, when I was first starting out in this business, I was a broke, actor at theater school, working multiple jobs. I was bouncing, I was, serving. I was doing everything I could, like most actors do, trying to make a go of acting. And there was a watch that I just so admired. I went by a fancy watch store once, and it was a Lovato watch. I don't know if anybody knows that company. It's a Swiss company, Lovato's. They make beautiful stuff. And I've never seen anything, so they're not fancy. They're not sort of, there's not a lot of bling like with Rolex. It's not chunky, they're very seamless, it's smooth. They look like they barely got any moving parts. They're very much like a Cylon, to be honest with you. They're Cylon-like in their style and appearance. And this is even before I had Battlestar Galactica. But I would stare at this watch, and I would go by this watch when I had no money, when I was barely making rent, when I was just eating cans of tuna and NJcon because that's all I could afford. And I promised myself that I was going to buy that watch when I got my first big gig. And my first big gig, and when I say big gig, it was just a guest star. I had no business buying that watch, but I bought that watch. I bought that watch. Because for me, it's like, you got to set goals sometimes, right? It's a dream of mine. Even at my lowest point, I'm barely paying the rent, and I couldn't, there was no way I was going to ask my parents for help. I just kept trying to believe in myself and talk to myself and encourage it in a positive way. And say, you're going to buy that watch, you're going to get that gig, you're going to make that money, and you're going to get it. And I can't tell you how proud I was when I actually bought that watch. I kept eating NJcon and tuna for weeks after that because I spent all my grocery money on this watch. But I got that watch, and I loved that watch for many years. I think that answers your question. Thank you. Hi.
So you mentioned that you're from Canada, and I'm from Canada as well. I'm just wondering, what's your favorite and least favorite thing about Canada?
Where are you from?
Montreal.
Oh yeah, what a beautiful city. What's your least favorite thing?
Probably the winter.
The winter.
Yeah.
The wind, right? The wind. It's ice cold there. I've been in Montreal in the winter. Yeah, it can get cold there. I mean, listen, I'm from the Yukon though, so we got a whole different thing going on. When I was a kid, for those of you who don't know, being born and raised in the Yukon territory, it was a normal thing that I'd get up in the morning for a couple months of the year, specifically January and February, to which this young lady can speak to in some ways. But I would go out to a vehicle that oftentimes wouldn't start. The only reason it would start is because we have to put battery blankets attached by an electrical cord, battery blanket around our vehicle so that it might start, right? Because when it's 40 to 50 below, vehicles freeze, sometimes they just die, they don't work. Power steering, columns break, like it's insane cold. So cold that even though you had your vehicle running for 15 minutes so that you could go to work and you could go to school, because things don't shut down when it gets that cold out there, you just keep going. Keep going and keep going. You get in the vehicle and you're sitting on a block of ice. No exaggeration, the seat is ice. It's rock hard. There's no cushion. And then when you start driving, the tires are square. No exaggeration. I'm not lying to you. That's how cold it is. The bottom of the tire is flat because the air molecules have stopped moving because it's 40 or 50 below. That's how cold it is. So I am so happy to have experienced that because it made me, I would say, a hardened individual. But I don't miss that cold. I don't miss that cold, man. The Yukon, when I was a kid, we had 2 months of that. 2 months. The only time I didn't go to school because of the cold was when it was minus 53. In minus 40, your flesh is freezing in 15 seconds. Within 15 seconds of exposure, you're getting frostbite, where your skin is dying. But minus 52, we were still going to school. Minus 53, they're like, okay, wait a minute. This is a little too cold. It's a little too cold. You better stop these kids from going to school. To this day, most of my friends who I grew up with in Yukon, when they get hot, they sweat. Their skin is purple, usually around their cheeks or their their nose or their ears, because all of us have frostbite. We all have frostbite as kids. Hardy Yukon kids. But there's so many beautiful things about Canada. It's a vast country. There are so many different, especially Canada pre-colonial. There are so many wonderful nations with rich histories and cultures and music. There's so many things I celebrate about that country, and I'm proud to be from there, as I'm sure you are. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
My husband and I are huge fans of Dollhouse.
Awesome.
And we were wondering if you could rewrite the ending, what would you have happen?
Let me turn that around on you right now. What was the part of the ending that you really didn't like?
That it ended before it should have?
Yeah, I know. I was doing an interview recently just talking about that. I think Jaws had such capable writers on the show. It really is a crime that they weren't given just one more season to really wrap things up in a way. But you have to admit though, because I'm sure you're an old fan of his work, that they did a pretty incredible job. We found out halfway through that season that it was going to be wrapped up. And luckily, Fox decided to give us that last 6 episodes. I still remember the day being on set, and we were doing there was like 8 of the cast doing a big scene. And I could tell something was on Joss's mind, and I approached him because I didn't know if something was going on with the family or what. And just asked him if he was okay. Like, are you okay? And he's like, I'll talk about this in a minute. Just, don't worry, we'll talk about it. I knew it was something heavy at that point, though. And he said, listen, the show's going to be canceled, but likely we're not canceled today or tomorrow. We're going to be able to wrap up the season and finish our 13 episodes. So I was grateful for that, and I just really made a point of enjoying all of it as much as I can. It's too bad that universe wasn't explored further. I think in some ways, you didn't even say this. Maybe that show came a couple years too early. But then again, it's probably exactly where it was supposed to be. Because if you look at how the shows took from that premise and a lot of those ideas years afterwards, I don't think that they would have even happened if Jaws hadn't done what he did with Dollhouse. Thank you. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I always get excited when I see you as a guest star on something, because even though it's not necessarily long-lived, it's always like an interesting character.
I appreciate
But
that.
anyway, if you could design a movie or a TV show for yourself where you were the star, like what kind of character would it be? What kind of plot? You said you love sci-fi, so probably something like that, but what kind of specific thing?
That's a great question. I've been writing a lot. I've got about 3 screenplays of my own that are, I'd say, 90% complete. One in particular I'm still working on, but it's the one I'm most excited about. Those are not sci-fi. They're all set in the Yukon territory where I grew up. I'm excited to eventually shoot those films. And one of them in particular I want to, it's ambitious, but I feel again like you've got to set some goals for yourself. And I want to direct it and I want to star in it. I wouldn't be doing all the heavy lifting. It's very much an ensemble cast. It's a story about a family who's struggling with many different things, and then a stranger comes into their life. And it's set in the 90s in the Yukon territory. A large part of it, of course, is the elements in the Yukon. They play a character. The fact that you can die in those elements is a strong aspect of the story. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting that done. In a perfect world, I've been really eager and wanting to play a cop role. I would love to do a feature where I was playing a detective of some sort. That would just make me very happy. It's been a long time since I played cop, and I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have been great. We got 3 days. Have a wonderful time together. Enjoy this amazing band. I'll see you soon. Later.
time for Mr. Tahmoh All right, now, I would like to talk specifically to the people that are streaming towards the exits. Bye. This next event will surprise you. I'm just going to be honest with you.